What is going on, everybody? Sports expert here, and we are here doing our Week 3 NFL Power Rankings. So, this will be 1 through 32. So, let's get started. But before we get started, please hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, like the video, comment what you think about my rankings and what your rankings are. So, let's get into it right now. At 32, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 0-2. They lost today to the Denver Broncos. Trevor Lawrence did not look good again. And the Jaguars, what I don't know about Urban Meyer. Should he take the USC job? Probably not, but you know, it's just not working for him right now in the NFL. So we'll see what he can do the rest of the season. But the Jaguars, it's just not looking good for them. They face Arizona next, and that's not going to be pretty. I got the Jaguars will probably get routed in that game too. So yeah, not ideal. At 31, I have the New York Jets. Pretty boy Zach Wilson. Come on, get out of here. 4 interceptions. I was not high on him, Zach Wilson. He was my number 5 quarterback in the class, and yeah, he's just not playing well. But to be fair, he makes Bill Belichick likes to make Jets quarterbacks see ghosts, so we'll see if he's doing that again. But I wouldn't be surprised. But just terrible from Zach Wilson. Not looking great for the Jets. At 30, we have the Atlanta Falcons. Might have the worst defense in football, no joke. Matt Ryan didn't even play terribly. He had a couple pick sixes, but, that second pick six was just whack. It wasn't even really him. His offensive line was really at fault for that. So, the Falcons just not looking great. They still have some nice receiving options in Kyle Pitts and Calvin Ridley, but other than that, what do you have on this team that has upside? Not much. Dante Fowler Jr. isn't that great. Grady Jarrett's pretty good, but what else? And Deion Jones, but other than those two, what do you got? Maybe A.J. Terrell, but I don't know. At 29, we have the Houston Texans. They lost to the Cleveland Browns, and they actually play Thursday night football, so the Texans, they lost Tyrod Taylor, so Davis Mills will probably be starting Thursday night, so that should be an interesting game as Davis Mills will face Sam Darnold. But the Texans are not that good of a football team, and I don't expect much from them this season. That's why I have them at 29. At 28, we have the New York Giants, who should have won, but their undisciplined football roster and coaching lost them the game, and Darius Slayton not knowing how to catch a football. So, yeah, but, the Giants aren't moving up in my power rankings until they show me something. At 27, we have the Detroit Lions. The Lions, they're one of those teams, they may not have a great record, but they're going to fight until the end at every game. They really are. With Dan Campbell at head coach, that's a team I would not want to play if you're in a playoff, in a stretch trying to make the playoffs towards the end of the year. So, but I'm not expecting much from the Lions, even though they do have some decent offensive players in Jared Goff, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow. Yeah. At 26, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers today at home, so was not pleased with the performance by Jalen Hurts. I think we kind of y'all overhyped Hurts in week 1. He played the Atlanta Falcons, who aren't very special or good, so yeah. That's what's going to happen, but, At 25, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow looked bad. I don't know what happened, but, Joe Burrow, 3 picks against the Chicago Bears, and a pick 6. Roquan Smith, great linebacker. Cincinnati faces Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh next week. That'll be an interesting one to see. But Joe Burrow, he got to step it up. But, Cincinnati didn't look bad today. They almost made a comeback. At 24, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz is injured. We don't know the timetable of his return. It's an ankle injury. He rolled it up pretty good per Frank Reich. So we might be seeing Jacob Eason, and that's not good for the NFL. As the Colts, we need Carson Wentz. We need him. Because Hard Knocks is coming up in season. They pick the Colts. And we don't have Carson Wentz. That's not good. So, At 23, we have the Chicago Bears. The Bears, they won versus the Bengals today, barely held on. They play the Browns next week. Should be interesting to see who starts next week because Andy Dalton got injured. I don't know if it's serious, though, or not, or anything. I don't think it is. But Justin Fields got some reps today. Didn't do really very well. 5 for 12 in the interception. But, it was enough for them to win. So, yeah. At 22, we have the Miami Dolphins, 35-0 to the Bills. That's all I have to say about that. Tua Tagovailoa was hurt, and you're going to see Jacoby Brissett for a couple weeks probably. Not good. At 21, we have the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, Mike Zimmer, come on, dude. Mike Zimmer has to be on the hot seat. I'm not even trying to be a jerk or anything at this point, but it has to happen. Has to be on the hot seat. I mean, come on now. Just not very good. And Greg Joseph, what are you doing? At 20, the Washington football team. They looked a bit sloppy versus the Giants, so that's why I moved them down a bit. But they're still a decent football team overall. Still got a decent defense, but they could have done much better than what they did versus Daniel Jones. But to be fair, Daniel Jones just owns Washington for some odd reason. At 19, we have the New Orleans Saints. What happened today? Jameis Winston, what happened? You let the Carolina Panthers own you. J.C. Horn, etc. Come on. Like, is this confirmed that the Packers are tanking? I don't know. But it's not a good look for Green Bay. At 18, we have the Denver Broncos. I mean, they're 2-0. Good chance they'll go 3-0 because they play the Jets this upcoming week. So, yeah, the Broncos, they are 3-0 because they play the Giants, Jaguars, and Jets. The schedule gets harder towards the end of the season, though. They get the Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders twice. So, yeah. At 17, we have the New England Patriots. I think they look good. They got a nice, solid defense. They got a solid rookie quarterback in Mac Jones. Maybe they can go places this year and move up in my rankings. But, you know, they got Bill Belichick as their coach, so anything could happen with the Patriots. I think the Patriots are a solid team. At 16, we have the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, wow. Lamar Jackson just struggling. Couple interceptions versus the Chiefs at halftime. Not ideal. I mean, what is happening with him? Seems like Baker Mayfield might be the best quarterback in that division with Roethlisberger struggling still and, Joe Burrow struggling. Yeah. At 15, we do have the Pittsburgh Steelers who lost to the Raiders today. Raiders look good. Derek Carr is having a great season so far. It looked like he was going to really struggle versus Baltimore, but no. And the Steelers, not a ton of offense. I mean, they're not going to get a ton of offense with that offensive line. And if Trey Turner gets suspended, they're screwed on offensive line for sure. He's been one of their only really good offensive linemen. It's not ideal. At 14, we have the San Francisco 49ers. They're 2-0. They defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. Impressive win. Because they did have to go on the run. They had all these injuries from their backs. Elisha Mitchell, Trey Sermon, and JaMychal Hasty are all injured. That's crazy. Because they just activated some of those guys because of the injury of all their running backs. Raheem Mostert, he suffered season-ending knee surgery, so yeah. At 13, we have the Seattle Seahawks. Wow. I mean, the defense for the Seattle Seahawks is just embarrassing. Like, what are we doing? How do you choke that game? 30-16. They had a 2-score lead the whole time. 24-9 at one point. Come on, Seattle. I mean, that's why they're at 13. They could be much higher, but I mean, until the defense gets it done, I'm not going to hype up the Seahawks too much. And Russell Wilson is not going to be able to do it himself. He's shown in the past that he hasn't been able to carry the load all season. At 12, we have the Tennessee Titans. Impressive win, obviously, against the Seahawks. Impressive comeback. Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry look good. A.J. Brown struggled with drops. Julio Jones looked much better, though. And the defense definitely looks sus still, but that's going to be them all season for sure, Tennessee. So, yeah. At 11, we have the Green Bay Packers. So, Aaron Rodgers, is he tanking? I don't know. But I have him at 11 just because it was only week 1. We'll see what happens here. I assume they'll beat the Lions, but, anything's possible. At 10, we have the Carolina Panthers, a team that looks really good so far. Sam Darnold, you put talent around him, and he's a really good quarterback all of a sudden. See? Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Christian McCaffrey, all that talent around him. So, yeah. At 9, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert, he had a couple crucial mistakes in this game. If Justin Herbert doesn't throw those 2 interceptions, they probably win the football game. I mean, those are 2 passes that could have been prevented. Justin Herbert, man, I mean, he's a good quarterback. He's going to have a great future, but not the greatest start of the season for him. Hopefully he'll get it together, and we'll see what happens throughout the season. At 8, we have the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best teams in football. Got a great offense, and if the defense can step up, I mean, this team's going to be great. The defense stepped up with the turnovers today and everything. Trevon Diggs, Leighton Vander Esch, DeMonte Casey, Malik Hooker all looked good. And even without DeMarcus Lawrence as well. At 7, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. Like I said earlier, Derek Carr is having a great season. You know, I mean, he had a bad start versus the Ravens, but look at him now, the Raiders. I'm really high on this football team at this point. John Gruden, will he be the savior? At 6, we have the Arizona Cardinals. Great offense as Kyler Murray. He did throw 2 picks and a pick 6 to Nick Vigil, who's with the Vikings now, which is interesting. But Kyler Murray looked good, but he had some bad moments, so that's going to be him. Murray's going to look really good, but he can look really bad at sometimes. That's my problem with this Cardinals team, that Kyler Murray can look terrible at times. He's not fully consistent. There's consistency there, but not full consistency. At 5, we have the Cleveland Browns moving down 1 spot. So, you know, Baker Mayfield, he actually moved down 2 spots. But Mayfield got injured. Looked like he had a serious shoulder injury, but came back onto the field. A little bit of a pop in his shoulder he felt, but he said he's fine. And that's huge for the Cleveland Browns as they get a big win over the Texans today. And they will probably face Justin Fields next week at home. At 4, we have the Rams. Rams looked very, very sloppy today. If the Colts don't make mistakes, they probably lose this game. Rams did not look great today, I will admit. But, you know, they're still good enough to be top 4. Definitely one of the best teams in football, offensively and defensively. Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, I mean, great duo. Darrell Henderson left with an injury. Not sure what the update on that is. At 3, we have the Buffalo Bills. Nothing else to say, but 35-0 over the Dolphins. They stepped up today. Defense looked great. I mean, to be fair, they faced Tua and Brissett, but, you know, that's not much. But the Bills are a really good football team and are a contender. At 2, we have the Kansas City Chiefs are playing right now. They're up 21-14 at halftime versus Baltimore. Looking good. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 48-25 versus the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons aren't a very good team, and they were able to win by 23. It was actually a 3-point game, 1 point in the fourth quarter, but 2 pick sixes by Matt Ryan cost the Falcons. So those are my Week 3 NFL Power Rankings. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new. Turn on post notifications, like the video, comment what do you think. I appreciate everyone being here. I'm out, guys. Sports expert here. Peace.